Dead air, dead air. Okay. Hello, this is Mark Viquez, regional correspondent for the website Stadium Journey. This is the Ballpark Hunter podcast, and with me today is Jackson Bruce, co-owner of the Oahe Zap of the Independence Baseball League that's based out of Pierre, South Dakota. Jackson, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on.
All right, so something peculiar occurred with your ball club. I didn't know about this until about maybe a week or two later. Somebody happened to post, and I'm forgetting the person's name. Forgive me. He does a great job of keeping tabs on rebranding and expansion team. But somebody sent out a power, I guess, an Excel slide, and it had the name of your team on there. And I'm like, what team is this? I never heard of them. So I reached out to you guys, checked out the website, and was just shocked that an expansion team in the Independence Baseball League was announced without my knowing. So I must be slipping this off season, but that's why you're here. And tell me about it.
Yeah, so you didn't really slip. We had a kind of an unconventional unveiling. We were still getting all the ownership stuff in line while at the same time we wanted to get our brand out. So we actually got our brand out before we announced that we were with ILB. So we'd been announced for about a few weeks to a month now, but we finally announced that we were in ILB. So that's when people started to really hear about it outside of the area.
Okay. So you guys were mulling whether to be maybe just independent and play other teams rather than joining a league.
Oh no. It was mostly just trying to we wanted ownership set before we paid our league fee. We were going to be ILB the whole time. We'd been reached out to by other leagues, but I know the guys from ILB during my time with the Trappers, so it was a good fit. We just needed to get cross some T's, dot some I's.
Okay, no, that perfectly makes sense. I'm sure the Northwoods League was trying to grab you guys because I know they're trying to make some moves out there. So why the ILB? You said you knew the guys, but is there a better plan with them compared to some other leagues that made your decision easier?
When it comes to budget and getting into a league, that was something that we looked at. They're very budget friendly. And they have. I've been involved with the Expedition League for 3 seasons from the start of it until through the 2020 season. I knew a lot of the other owners and stuff, like out of Hastings and Badlands and Fremont, those teams that had been around. I've worked with them, and I kind of knew what the situation was. I learned with the World when they broke off and made their own league, and once the Expedition League eventually ceased operations, we decided that it was a good fit to go somewhere that's familiar. The fan base in Pierre knows these teams. They're familiar with these teams. And talking with them about their business plan, being a nonprofit, and really their vision of what they want for a league and how the teams can be ran independently compared to kind of feeling like you're league owned. That was another thing that we really liked. And overall, it's just the people and the plan, and that's what we ended up going with, and the familiarity of the people that we were chatting with.
Yeah, because I mean, you guys fit that foothold nice. I've had other people on here from the league. I had I can't think of their names. I had a gentleman from the Spuds on last year. We talked about Spud Sauce. That sounds like a fun little ballpark out there. I talked to some other guys that are no longer in the league. They decided to go independent. No hard feelings from what it appears, but
yeah, Chuck and Myra.
Chuck, yeah.
I know Chuck. Yep.
Had a nice conversation with him. I felt like that's a guy I could probably bring on the show again and just have another talk with him. So I guess the next question is, I know the Trappers were in town. It appears like you're bringing back a lot of the same players and manager as well.
Yeah. So actually, Jamie Habiger, who is going to be our coach again this year, he was the coach of the Trappers the last 2 seasons. He's actually part of the ownership group.
Nice.
So he saw the vision that we had and wanted to be a part of it. Him and his dad, Bob, who has some minor league baseball experience himself. They really liked what they saw in the Pierre market. They have South Dakota ties. Bob splits his time between Madison, South Dakota, and Tahoe, California. And so bringing Jamie back was a no-brainer, especially with the team they had. The Expedition League competition was just very strange last year. You had the Source Valley Saber Dogs, who, I mean, they had a lot of guys who would probably not have been summer league eligible, but because of the Expedition League's rules, they were, and they stocked up on those guys. It was almost like having an independent team playing.
Okay.
And so it was, so for the talent to be seen at the level it should have been for the Trappers was a little hard. So bringing back those guys and knowing their competitive nature and how they kept close with they kept it close with that team in the championship, we felt like a lot of those guys should come back. Jamie likes that group of guys. Jamie's a great coach. So there's going to be a lot of continuity when it comes to the roster. But not much else is really anything continuous. I mean, I was with the Trappers for 3 years, was not with the Trappers over the last 2. And so it's going to be a whole different entity, but there is going to be a lot of familiarity. And then with the league, of course, with playing teams like Hastings, Badlands, Spearfish, the fans are already familiar with that. So
yeah. So what's are they planning to add more teams, or are they set on 8 as we speak?
I know that there are markets being scouted. Okay. I don't know full details, but I do know that markets are being scouted. So I wouldn't be surprised if there might be a couple more teams that get brought into the fold before the schedule is released.
Yeah, I know that gets all our baseball guys happy, because we see new logos, we see new caps, merchandise, we get on the websites, we start making orders. And that takes me to your team name, the Zap, which like that name, it's unique, it's different. It doesn't sound like anything baseball. But it has a connection to the area. So when did you realize this was going to be the team name, and how long did the process go? How did you come up with this name?
Well, when we thought about it, I love minor league baseball. I love the team names, the branding. So when we were thinking about names, we started throwing some out. Like, what's something unique to South Dakota that could be a lot of fun? So I had come up with the gravel lizards, the Pierre gravel lizards, which is a walleye.
Gravel lizards, nice.
Yeah, or the Pierre ditch chickens, which is a pheasant.
Nice. Ditch chickens.
But we were pretty set on ditch chickens until one day I was hanging out at a bar in Pierre, and I was talking to actually one of our host family and season ticket holders from the Trappers, and I was talking to him. And, we're talking, he goes, what kind of name you thinking? And I kind of told him a few names we were kicking around. He goes, well, what about doing something with the Oahe Dam Powerhouse? It's like, that could be fun. I like that. That's unique to the area. And so we started thinking using Oahe for Central South Dakota instead of just Pierre. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, well, what about something electricity? We were thinking. And I was like, Zappers, but they have the indoor football team that Johnny Manziel plays for. I was like, that's not, but I was like, well, we could just make it the Zap. And that's when the Zap was born. I brought it to the co-owners, and the Zap was born after that. So.
Yeah. And just like that, and I like the logos, love the colors of, there's yellow, there's blue, powder blue, navy, powder blue, bright yellow, and white. Those should look good on a jersey. Mm-hmm. I don't think you got the hats made yet, but I'm thinking there's going to be a giant Z on them.
Yep, we are going to use the Z logo on the hat, and then we're thinking we're kicking around some other ideas, but the Z is for sure going on the hat. I think that's going to look awesome. Shout out, by the way, to our designer Joel Yoakum. He's out of Sioux Falls. He's actually one of my best friends. He is my best friend. We've been best friends since kindergarten. He designed our logo. He also designed the Trap alternate logo for the Trappers a few years back too. So he did a really good job with the branding. I kind of told him, hey, this is what we're looking at. And he's a Pierre guy, so he knew what we were looking for. So I'm really psyched with how he had it turn out.
Yeah, and like I said, I have seen logos even in the Expedition League. I saw some of those logos created, and I was like, man, that logo looks a little, I'll be, political and just say, it's nice. When I saw the Zap logo, I'm like, that's a nice looking logo. Who do they get to design it? So it's a local guy. He did a fabulous job. So what was his name again? Joel
Yoakum, Jochim. He does stuff independently. And he also works for Matt Jensen Marketing in Sioux Falls. So I told him as soon as we got this going, I was like, you're going to be in charge of the brand.
Mhm.
You know the market. Let's do this. And he always does great work, and he made it look clean. He did an awesome job.
Yeah. No, it's just, yeah, it's a nice looking logo. If for those of you who are listening on YouTube, there it is. It's that Z with the bolt of lightning going through it. Just really nice. That would look great just across a jersey. Speaking of jerseys, are you looking to do something a little futuristic or traditional or
Actually,
comfortable?
so we would like to do something pretty standard, put
Yeah,
the Zap across the chest. We're thinking powder blue and yellow
nice.
for our main jerseys, and we're thinking, and we're going to see how it looks once the designs come back. But uh, we we think the Z would look really good on a white with some navy sleeves, and having it be big, kind of like the turn ahead the clock jerseys that they had in
Okay.
1999 in
Yep.
MLB.
Remember those?
Just have it kind of got a big old Z, and I think that we're going to see how that looks. That might be a look we go with for the alternate.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, just push the envelope on jersey designs. Sometimes it doesn't hit the mark, but when it does, you know it, and
Mm-hmm.
you just take it from there. So that's exciting. Yeah, just a nice looking logo, very crisp, very clean. And I assume the fan base, are you getting calls or people like excited? How's that so far since you announced the name?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. We're still getting stuff situated. The office will be open next week. Season tickets will be starting to go on sale. Merchandise will be coming in within the next couple weeks, so it'll be ready in time for some Christmas shopping.
Beautiful.
People will be rocking the Zap logo around town and hopefully across the country here soon. And yeah, it's picking up steam, especially with the ILB announcement. That really helped also.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like everybody says, "Hey, we just announced our logo. We have sold 25 out of 50 states plus Canada." So everybody wants to hit those marks off. And because I think I had Monica Blake for the My Not Hot Tots, and I don't know, by now they might have sold all 50 states, but Indiana was one cap they haven't sold. So I thought about buying a hat from them, but I said no, I'm going to wait until I see everything before I make that purchase. So, but yeah, definitely be on the lookout for the Zap. And of course, anybody else out there, check out it's pronounced the Oahe Zap. Little bit of a different pronunciation from the word, but if you're not from the area, these things have to be taught to us. So
Oh,
it's
just like Pierre, it's
Pierre.
Pierre.
It's Pierre. Yeah, and I said Pierre, and I'm thinking, oh, he said Pierre. But and you know what? I am this much old when I realized it was Pierre. I have
Mhm.
never called it that. It's just like I was in New York State one year. I was checking out the what I was calling the Olean Oilers baseball team, and somebody goes, "It's Olean." That's fine. You're not the first. So,
Mhm.
there you go. Pierre. And I'm sure somebody out there is like, Mark, I knew that. Come on. I didn't know that. I haven't spent a lot of time in the Dakotas. It's been about 27 years since I've stepped foot into the states of South and North Dakota. So my bad. I apologize. Uh, but that's fine. So 60 games. You're looking at you're looking for a mascot. Last I heard, you're looking for a name Sparky, Bolt, or Jolt. Are you going to leave that up to the fans to maybe come up with a name, take some suggestions?
We'll be taking some more suggestions. We're hopefully gonna be rocking an electricity theme with
Yeah.
the name, but there's like I think we've probably heard about 50 different names that we could have. So I think it's gonna be cool. We'll have a lot of options and we can pick the best one possible.
Yeah. See, when I'm thinking electric, I'm thinking electric eel. I'm thinking electric boogaloo. I'm thinking you're playing that MGMT song, Electric Feel, when a batter comes up. I'm just like all of a sudden I'm getting all these ideas like I'm part of the club. But yeah, I love that aspect of going through the electricity. So the home ballpark Hyde Stadium. Any changes from last year, or is it the same good old times folks are going to have?
It's gonna we're hoping to improve the product that's been there before. The stadium itself will be the same. It's the renovation they put in about 6 years ago was
Yeah.
awesome. And it's a great ballpark to catch a game. And I'm pretty excited to see what we can do and push the limits. That's the big thing. We want to make sure it's the best party that people have in Central South Dakota. So, but yeah, same thing when it comes to the ballpark. A lot of things will be similar, but hopefully we're going to bring our brand there, and it'll be a little bit different. And hopefully, we improve on what was already there before.
Now, is there anything you're thinking of or you have set in place that will be different? Like maybe have pregame concerts, parties, maybe your mascot comes out and, holds up a child in the air to say, "Hey, welcome to your first game." Like anything like that?
We don't have anything set in stone yet, but we do have promotions that we're starting to run through and see what we want to do. And that stuff's all just off-season brainstorming. Taking a half hour every day brainstorming some ideas. We're still working on every electricity plan that we could possibly go with. And so everything, that's one thing, is that with our brand, and that's also kind of part of why we went with the Zap instead of the ditch chickens, was there's so much things you can do with electricity. So we really want to drive it home that this is our identity. Taking a page out of the book of the Savannah Bananas, everything is bananas, and it's amazing what they do. And I look at the electricity brand as something that we can definitely get on that level when it comes to everything being around such a theme. So I think that if we can really commit to what we are doing, that I think it could be the best ballpark experience people have had in Pierre, South Dakota, and hopefully one of the best in collegiate summer ball, if that's possible.
No, I mean, those are things you definitely want to do. And, it's summer collegiate baseball. I live in Fishers, Indiana, which is right outside of Indianapolis. I wish we had something like that up here. They're building a new hockey arena for the ECHL team that's going to be open in a few years. I'm like, can we open up a summer collegiate ballpark and do the things that you guys want to do and the things the Bananas are doing or the Madison Mallards are doing or what the Victoria Harbor Cats are doing out there in British Columbia? It's like, yeah, let's just make this a big party, like you guys. I can see coming in and having the lights, flashing on and off in your team colors, when somebody hits a home run or, just somebody, just having some kind of mascot, not the main mascot, but somebody walk around with like electric currents, safe ones, not actual ones, that's lighting up and down like Electric Man or something, just to kind of jazz people up. There's so many things you can do with that. Yet I just wish I lived a little bit closer. I keep talking to a lot of people from the Expedition League or the Northwoods League that have teams out in the Dakotas and whatnot. It's like, man, I think I need to take a drive out there and see the country, see the Badlands, and see all these ballparks, because it's becoming a destination now for some of our ballpark travelers. And it's like I said, I drove through the Dakotas in 1995 as a kid. That's the last time I've been out there. I haven't even been close. So it's a lot of fun. But you and I were talking earlier before we got on the air. Your experience isn't in Pierre. It started way back when. You're a big minor league baseball guy too. How did you get into the business? Internship, college job? How did that all start?
Yeah. So it all started, I majored in sport marketing and administration at Northern State University in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Okay.
I got my start really in hockey. I was an intern with the Aberdeen Wings in the North American Hockey League. Did a summer internship with off-season stuff in Austin, Minnesota with the Austin Bruins.
Oh yeah.
And then I did an internship with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers out in Niles, Ohio, during the summer before my senior year. So that's when I first got into minor league baseball. And I wanted to be in minor league baseball. That was always my goal. And then after that, I went back to school for the last year, ended up in hockey because the Youngstown Phantoms, I moved back out that way.
Oh yeah.
And then I worked in hockey in Casper, Wyoming. Then I went back to Austin, Minnesota and worked there full time. And then the job was posted about the general manager. Well, actually, it wasn't posted. The team in Pierre was announced for the Expedition League, and I had inquired. I really liked my job in Austin, but I said, I'm a sports professional. I would love to, assist in any way. And all of a sudden, I'm on the phone with the owners, and they're like, well, why don't you meet with us? Maybe you could be the GM. And I'm 23 years old. I was like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen.
That's how it happens.
And yep. And so I ended up becoming the first general manager in Pierre Trappers history, got to do what we're doing now and really, starting it up. And so that experience is helping out. But I did that for 3 years. I won the executive of the year in 2019. So that's really one of my proud achievements, besides just being able to make it successful in the first place in my hometown. So getting to do this with the Zap now, with my background, I think that, and with the other owners and who we're going to hire in the front office, I think this is going to be some pretty cool stuff that we got going on.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a great opportunity there. And then you said you worked for the Austin Bruins. A friend of mine, Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles, another podcast, he interviewed their media relations director, Jared Becker. Are you familiar with Jared?
No, is that recently?
Yes, it was recently. I never even heard of the
Okay.
Austin Bruins until
Okay.
Ed decided to interview him. So as soon as you said, "Hey, I work for the Austin Bruins," I'm like, "Yeah, maybe there's a connection there."
Yep, the guys that I worked with are gone now, but I still keep in touch with the owners, Craig Patrick and Mike Cooper. So and I keep tabs a little bit. I haven't kept tabs in a while just because I've been busy.
Yeah, it's hard to.
I because I'm now a teacher. So that's actually my full-time job.
Where do you teach at? I mean, what's your position as what
I am
teaching?
I'm a seventh grade PE and health teacher at the middle school.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
nice. I'm also a high school teacher, special ed, so I am not a full-time podcast baseball traveler. It'd be nice, believe you me. And if we ever had a baseball team come into town in the Northwoods League or the Great Lakes League or the Prospect League, hint, be more than happy to help out some way. I could be a GM. I don't care. I'll be the PR guy, but it's
being a GM is so much. It's so much fun. A lot of work, but it's hard not to love your job.
No,
it's fun.
No, and I used to work for a soccer team in Cincinnati before they had MLS. They had the Cincinnati Riverhawks. Going on 20 years. 20 years ago in February is when I started. And I was paid $300 a week. I found a room to rent for $125 a month. I had to do 2 hours of like household chores. That's a story for another day. But worked for them. I think my last 2 checks bounced. So, and I was trying. Then I was going to work for the Florence Freedom, and then I think something happened with the ownership group there, not the current ownership group. That's now the Y'alls, but. Everywhere I went, somebody's like, okay, we'll hire you, but we want you to be an intern where we'll give you a free place to stay, but no pay. And it's just after a while, I'm like, you know what? If I'm teaching, I'm going to have a salary. I'll have my summers off. Nashville was like that. Knoxville was like that. I almost took a job with a indoor soccer team in Kansas City that they hired me. And then when I went to get a call back for, more information, nobody knew who I was. And the person who hired me had left. And, thank you, Jennifer, wherever you are.
I tell you, minor league baseball, just minor league sports in general.
Yes.
It can be amazing and it can be incredibly difficult.
Yes.
And I have friends who have not been paid, and I've had friends whose checks have bounced, and I've, trying to break in. It's internship.
Yes.
And so, you got it's difficult, but I will say that that's another thing when it comes to the Zap is we want to make sure we're a good partner to our vendors, a good partner to our community,
definitely,
and a preferred employer is what we really want to do.
You don't want to irk anyone off. You start going back on, you don't pay somebody to make the jerseys. You don't pay somebody who made your signage. Then that word gets around, and then and unfortunately, the Expedition League, there were some situations that went a little bit sour. We won't get into that, but you're right. You just have to come in there and say, "Hey, listen, we're here to honor our contracts. We want to provide quality baseball, and even your players, when they come out here, they're going to need a place to stay." And you're gonna have to make sure you feed them. And I can tell you stories when I worked in the industry. We had guys that were running to the bank to try to cash their checks. This was before you can just cash your check online, and it was terrible because I started running with them. I'm like, okay, here I come. I'm right behind you, and I still think I have my last 2 checks. I actually called up the bank and I said, "Hey, is there enough money in this fund to take any money out?" They said no. I said, "Okay." You know, and for $300 or $600, are you going to sue, go through court to get that money?
Mhm.
It's tough, but it sounds like your travels obviously were not quite that crazy, and people have been, but maybe they have, who knows? But it seems
Yeah,
like you're.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen the best side of minor league
Mhm.
sports, and I've seen some of the worst sides of minor league sport. And I'll tell you that's been factored into the decision when it comes to ownership and how we're gonna run this team. It's all about culture and it's all about how you do things. So seeing all that stuff has been very beneficial. I know
Yeah.
how it all goes, and even hearing stories from my good friends, because some of them had it worse than me, and some of them had it incredibly, and they would have never even dreamed about stuff like that. So, but that's the side of it that you have to think about. And a lot of people who go into ownership don't think about those things. They don't think about everybody you have to pay and paying your bills on time. I've been on the receiving end of, hey, where's the money at? Well, I don't got the checkbook. You're gonna have to talk to the owner.
Mhm.
That's a tough conversation to have, but that's a conversation we're hoping that our front office doesn't have to have, because we're going to be diligent in making sure things get paid, people get paid, and things are done right.
Yeah, and that's definitely, like I tell people, nobody comes into these situations saying I want to screw people over out of money. It's just, unfortunately, it takes a lot of money to run these leagues, and I God bless it. Hopefully you guys do a great job. I think you're off to a wonderful start, and I don't, you have definitely the experience and the know-how to make that work. So best of luck to you guys this year. Uh, but you're also a baseball fan, and you've told me
Oh yeah.
before that you like checking out different minor league ballparks, major league ballparks. Do you have a count? How many have you been to?
I've been to 14 major league, and I've probably been to about, I don't have a count per se, but when it comes
Make
to
one.
minor league slash collegiate and independent, I've
Yeah.
probably been to about 20, 25 ballparks in that range too. So, and I'll tell you I've got some favorites, and I've got
Yeah.
some that were cookie cutter, but overall I like the experience. And when you go in working in sport and you go to these places, you start to look at stuff that other people don't.
Yeah.
And but everyone does a phenomenal job for the most part. And
So
that's the cool
so
part about it.
so what do you look at when you go in that nobody
Well,
else
first of
does?
Yeah. So I look at I like to look at the little things. How often do you use your branding? Akron Rubber Ducks, for instance. You walk across the street, you're going across a crosswalk that is duck footprints,
Okay.
things like that. I also like to look at, the um, how are the game day staff preparing for the next on-field game that they're doing. You're kind of looking around. So you can start seeing people go into the gate, and you're looking like, oh, this is what the on-field game is going to be this time. Seeing their process of how they get their contestants. Looking at the different food items, which I know everyone probably does that.
Hmm.
But I like to see the branding. I like to see the operations side of it and how they work and how they function.
Yeah, no, and you're right. Some people may overlook that, but yeah, I'm with you there. When I go to a ballpark, I definitely do look at the staff, and are they greeting me at the front? Are they giving away not a promotion, but sometimes, here's a free plastic cup with our logo on it, something simple
Mm-hmm.
like that. Are they dressed up in wacky outfits walking around? When I went to the St. Paul Saints game, they had entertainers walking around, um, just doing like comedy bits. They had a woman dressed as an old lady, Gert the Flirt, and she would give you kisses with heavy lipstick on. They had a couple characters called the Nerd and Nerdette, and they would act like Steve Urkel and dance around. And then they had a guy who would sing a song very horribly and throw candy out to people. So
Mm-hmm.
just like stuff that's not really baseball, but it really added to the ambiance or added
Yeah.
something extra there. So yeah, I love seeing that. What were some of your favorite ballparks? Which ones stood out that you said, if I could go to one ballpark, this would be the place.
If I could go to one ballpark, I would go to Modern Woodman Park in
Oh yeah.
Davenport, Iowa. Uh, it, it's unique. You got the Missouri, the Mississippi River
Yeah,
Bridge.
you got
That's an awesome, awesome view right there. They have a great ballpark experience. I love the River Bandits brand, and you got the Ferris wheel
The
out
Ferris
there,
wheel.
and one other thing that I liked about that was because I like to walk around and look. I don't always sit in my seat and watch the
No,
game,
no,
and
neither do
so
I.
I like to. They have a whole walking path that goes all the way around the stadium. So it's just a sidewalk, and you can walk all the way around, see the game from every angle, and and just take your beer and take a stroll.
Yeah.
Those are the things I liked about that ballpark.
No, you're absolutely right. You're not going to complain about the view. One of the best in minor league baseball. The Ferris wheel, if you can get up on there. If you go to my channel, Ballpark Hunter on YouTube, there is a video that was sent to me from a viewer, and it's an amazing. It's a great angle. You don't have that at other ballparks. You may have some Ferris wheels or amusement parks, but not that close. And right, it's an older ballpark that is kept up to a certain standard that appeals to people in the 21st century. So, yeah, I like it too. What about major league ballparks? Which ones, are your favorites?
Looking ballpark, and I think a lot of people say it's Pittsburgh, PNC. But my favorite ballpark experience is probably Milwaukee. I
Oh yeah.
love going to see the Brewers play. I'm a fan of the movie Mr. 3000, so I got that kind of nostalgia going for me when you watch that movie. And then it's got like a sports bar type feel to it. I don't know how to really
Okay.
describe it.
I could see that. Yeah, I love the tailgating. I love the tailgating there.
And then you also, oh yeah, it's a different experience. And then you have the wall that's got the 100 local beer taps on it, and you can get beer from all across the state. And you can the slide Bernie Brewer. I just love the whole experience. Oh, the hot dog race. It's a fun ballpark to go to, and I think it's vastly underrated.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Every time I talk to somebody, it's Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Wrigley, Fenway, or Colorado. Yeah, Milwaukee, you don't hear about. I've been there about 3 times. It's been a while. Probably need to go back and check things out because, I love the tailgating. I love the food. And you're right. Everybody's partying there. Everybody's just having a great old time and great crowds. I mean, Milwaukee Brewer fans are some of the best in the country. They support that club big time. So yeah, definitely give a shout out to the brew crew out there. So nice. So anyway, what's next before we take off? What is next for you to do as GM with the ball club as we speak? This will go live in a couple days, so won't be too far behind.
Yeah, so we're going to be I've got actually an owner meeting right after this over FaceTime. Okay. So we're gonna do that, and then we're probably going to start announcing hires for the front office, start announcing players, and getting our office space a little more prettied up, and then getting merchandise out to the masses, and all the fun stuff now that we've gotten through all the business. So we're going to be making a lot of announcements. We're going to get our brand out there, and you're going to get to see you're going to fully get to see what the Zap can do.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it, and exciting times. I always like this time of the year when new teams come aboard and they're ready to go. So best of luck to you guys this year in the league. And where can we find you if we want to check you guys out on Twitter or at your website?
Website will be up here within the next few days. And then you can find us on Twitter at Oahe Zap. And you can find us on Instagram at Oahe Zap. Our TikTok's coming up at Oahe Zap. And then just search Oahe Zap on Facebook. You'll find us there.
All right. Sounds great. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Jackson, and best of luck. And it was great talking with you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Anytime, just let me know. I'd love to come back.
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do a part 2 after the season, how things went, and love to do that.
That'll work. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, that was Jackson Bruce of the Oahe Zap. Oahe Zap. I like saying that, Oahe. And I just realized it's Pierre, not Pierre. Been saying Pierre for like 40 some years already. Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. But these things happen. Couple of things I would suggest. I didn't want to tell him because I'm a little bit older than Jackson. Uh, when I think of the Zap and electricity, I think of the electric company, and I just think of Rita Moreno, Oscar-winning Hollywood legend, icon, Latina icon, Rita Moreno coming out and just screaming, "Hey, you guys!" You have to do that. Have Rita Moreno come out to Pierre, or I'm sorry, Pierre. God, it's going to take me a while, guys. Sorry. To come out to your ballpark and scream, "Hey, you guys!" Not the guy. It's not from the Goonies. It's from the Electric Company, 1971. Morgan Freeman was on there, but Morgan Freeman's got some issues with his time on the Electric Company. Get Miss Moreno out there, Senorita Moreno, and have her just scream, "Hey, you guys." And then boom, everybody comes out. Or maybe that's what you do after for every beginning of every game. Just you scream, "Hey, you guys." That's it. I don't know if you have to play the Electric Company theme. Go on YouTube, look up the Electric Company theme song. Now, if you could get Spider-Man out there, that's even better. Okay, I'm dating myself. Yes. Well, let's be honest. When I was watching Electric Company, it was very outdated to me. I mean, I was watching this in 1984, and I'm like, holy crap, what is this show? It looks old. I mean, they're wearing these, wacky outfits from the early to mid 70s. Yeah, it was old for me when it was on. And I'm not talking about the updated version that came out a few years ago. I'm talking about the classic, like 71 to 77 version. So, yeah, okay, that's enough about PBS shows of our youth. But yeah, that was a great episode. I would have talked to him a little bit longer, but my internet was acting a little bit weird. I'm going through some weird phases with the internet. So I didn't want to get into a position where I was disconnected and you didn't listen to the show. And that happened the other day. Well, it happened the other day with another guest. That show's not going to be on. I don't know when that show's coming on. I have about 6 shows that I have to edit and put up. But I definitely want to thank Jackson. Like, I reached out to him a couple days ago as soon as I found out about the team. And he's like, "Yeah, come out Friday. This is my time." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And he came out, he talked to me. And, everybody's busy. Not everybody wants to do a podcast. But I want to thank him, and I want to thank Monica from My Knot to just making saying, "Hey, we'll come out and do a podcast and we'll talk to you for about 30 minutes." So thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. And he mentioned the Austin Bruins, and of course, Ed Rivera has an interview with the Austin Bruins, which is a hockey team, a junior hockey team, which Jackson used to work for a few years ago. So hopefully we'll have Jackson on after the 23 season. We hope, we'll see how things are going, because the Expedition League, where he was connected with, there was like 7 teams that left and formed the IBL, and it's drama. It's drama. So hopefully that's far behind. Fans don't want that. They want baseball, no drama. So anyway, guys, appreciate you coming on to listen to the show, whether you are on YouTube or you are listening through your favorite podcast aggregator. Is that what it's called? I got to get up with these things. I couldn't do this without you. Appreciate the love you give me. Zach Beeson, #1 fan. It's always happy to hear me say his name out there. And I'm sure Zach will have a Zap. Zach will have a Zap hat. No, hold on. Zach will have a Zap cap. Zach, are you wearing a Zap cap? Zap caps for Zach. Zap for Zach. Zach is Zap. Okay. Zap zaps the Zap cap because he likes this. Okay. Little tongue twisters there, my friends. Little tongue twisters. All right. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening and watching and checking me out. And that's all. That's all I got to say. And hold on, before I go, you're wondering why I'm wearing an Arizona Cardinals cap. I was doing some yard work outside. I'm actually wearing a Rhode Island baseball jersey that I bought for $5 at the Adidas outlet several years ago. No, I never played baseball for Rhode Island, but for the 4 people that I said I did, I lied. I was doing some yard work and I forgot that I had a podcast today. And I already forgot one time with the owner slash GM of the Potters. Oh, what the heck? The name of they're the Potters out in outside of Sacramento. Man, I'm losing my mind. I can't think of the team. And I was late. We couldn't work out another date. I think he's mad at me. And I didn't want to do that for a second time. So unfortunately, Lincoln Potters, that's the name of the team, the Lincoln Potters. I forgot about him and I screwed that up, and it's my fault. I admit it. But maybe we can get somebody from the Potters back on in the future. So I almost forgot this week. So I grabbed the closest hat I can find. It happened to be an Arizona Cardinal hat, which I also bought for $5 at the Lids outlet store. So this cost me $10, this whole outfit. Yay. I'm cheap. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening and watching, and we will see you next time. Remember, go to YouTube, Ballpark Hunter, and subscribe and like and get me monetized. I am so close. Monetize me. Energize me. Oh, there you go. Energize me. Okay. Enough. Take care. See you next time.